right, deep divers, ready to dive deep. Today we're diving into The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. You guys wanted a guide to a more present and fulfilling life, and this book, well, it might be just that.
It's a classic for a reason.
So Tolle's big idea is that we're stuck, kind of trapped in our heads.
Yeah.
Reliving the past, stressing about the future.
Exactly.
But the only reality is this moment right now.
Right. Absolutely. He calls it a mental time warp, and he links it directly to our suffering.
Which makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Right. Because how often are you truly present? Most of the time, our minds are elsewhere. And that's where the ego comes in.
The ego.
Yeah, and not in the look at me kind of way. More like that inner critic, the voice that's always judging, comparing, wanting to control.
Oh, I know that voice all too well.
Right. It keeps us chained to past regrets and future worries. And that keeps us from finding true peace.
So how do we escape this time warp? How do we actually live in the now? That's what I find so fascinating about this book. It's not just theoretical. Tolle offers these really practical techniques.
He does. And one of the most powerful is cultivating an inner observer.
Inner observer, what's that?
Imagine this. You're trying to meditate to be present, and your mind wanders off, which it always does.
Oh, it totally does.
Instead of getting caught up in those thoughts, you just observe them without judgment. You say, oh, look at that. My mind is thinking about that embarrassing thing I did 5 years ago.
Been there.
Right. But instead of getting sucked in, you simply notice the thought and gently guide your attention back to your breath or whatever you're focusing on.
It's like hitting the pause button on your thoughts. That sounds helpful, but how do we apply this to everyday life? Like a stressful work meeting or a tough decision.
That's where the power of letting go comes in. Tolle argues that much of our suffering comes from clinging to the past or trying to control the future.
We're attached to these outcomes.
Yes, and that creates a lot of unnecessary anxiety. By practicing presence, we can start to release those attachments and face challenges with a calmer, clearer mind.
So instead of freaking out about that presentation, we can just be present and do our best.
Exactly. And that's when we can start to tap into what Tolle calls the unconditioned mind. It's a state of pure awareness, free from the ego's chatter.
That sounds amazing, like total inner peace.
Right? It's like finding that still point in the middle of a hurricane. It's not about achieving something, but rather realizing that this state of peace is always available to us when we let go of our attachments and simply be present.
So if we can master this power of now, we can unlock this unconditioned mind and experience true peace and joy.
That's the idea. It's a journey, but it's possible.
Wow. So much to think about. So deep divers imagine facing each day not from a place of fear or anxiety, but from this place of grounded presence. What would that look like in your life? It's something to ponder. And that wraps up our deep dive into the power of now. We explored the ego, the importance of presence, and some practical techniques to bring more peace into our lives.
It's all about being present.
We hope you found this dive as insightful as we did. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep. See you in the next one.